Hello everyone. Is there any narrative which is an exact opposite to conventional narrative structure? If yes is your answer, here it is. Anti-narrative. Let us explore it together. This video highlights what an anti-narrative is, its key components, its application and its relation to postmodern narratives. An anti-narrative is a narrative structure that defies or ignores a conventional narrative structure. Moreover, it disrupts the conventional or traditional elements such as linear chronology, conventional storytelling approach, and cause and effect approach. Anti-narrative diverges itself from conventional storytelling by disrupting audience expectations as well. Let us consider the movie Fight Club for an example. In this film, the character Edward Norton makes a confession in the very beginning. The confessions are basically fragments in his memory. So, the narration itself is non-linear in nature. It's not a linear pattern, a regular pattern starting from leading towards a middle point and then ends to a catastrophe. It's not the conventional way. Now it gets disrupted. The time of the series of events gets disrupted, which is popularly known as contradictory chronology. Moreover, the confessions made by Edward Norton could not be trusted at the very beginning because he was a criminal. So the reliability of the narrator is questioned over here. It is called an unreliable narrator. Such an unreliable narrator will lead to ontological frame breaking. It is clear from this single movie example that the narrator and narrative both gets changed from conventional narrative style. An anti-narrative is often associated with depiction of events that could not take place on real world. This concept is often misinterpreted. It is made to believe that fantasy or supernatural things are also anti-narratives. But there is a difference between an anti-narrative and a supernatural or fantasy. Let us consider Kung Fu Panda trilogy for an example. The Kung Fu Panda trilogy is completely fantasy in nature, but at the same time, the whole film, all the three films, are made in conventional narrative structures. So, a fantasy or supernatural has nothing to do with anti-narrative structure. Let us quickly ponder upon the importance of an anti-narrative. An anti-narrative empowers the audience in a greater scale. Audience are used to conventional narrative structures. When audience are up to conceive such anti-narrative in different modes, their intelligence and perceptions begin to grow. The perception gets entirely shifted, gets a paradigm shift from a conventional or normal conceiving audience to a thinker. The same applies for a creator as well. A creator has to put more effort to create an anti-narrative work. So a creator also involves himself and improves himself for the production of a work based on anti-narrative. Let us quickly ponder upon the relation between an anti-narrative and a postmodern narrative. If postmodern narrative confers to the time period or time of action, anti-narrative is the product produced during the time period. For this, we have to understand the postmodern narrative in the very first place. Postmodern narratives. 2 world wars took place which caused drastic destruction to all the nations. So most of the writers started feeling like there is a need to rupture human as the centers. So the concept of anthropocentrism was prevalent and most of the writers, scientists and all of them have during disrupt anthropocentrism in a larger scale. Conventional narrative is like a plain mirror where you can see the whole and clear image, while an anti-narrative is like a fragmented or broken pieces of a mirror. It shows you the clear image as well, but each and every fragment shows a different image and you have to observe each and everything in a different perspective. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.